Hey everybody, Brox here, just doing a very quick update as we're about ready to hit level 60 in Hardcore Solo Self-Found on the Eternal Rage Monkey build, Temporal Bubble Monkey build. Wanted to just tell you I am probably going to easily get to maps and getting through the interludes. Nothing seems like it's going to be too much of a threat at the moment. As I'm clearing the interlude. So far, we have cleared, I'll show you, we've cleared all of the far right interlude, because that one gives plus 40 spirit, which we needed to get Eternal Rage online. So we did this one first. We're now clearing out the far left interlude, and then we'll go from there. Things that I've learned that are very important updates to the build. First thing is, if you are going to be using, let me go here. If you are going to be using the chaos damage nodes that are fairly strong early on, and I've actually changed this in the build to supplement these nodes for the +4 max rage that is over here. So this +4 max rage, since these three nodes inherently don't do anything, it's a really big waste of 3 points. Even though we get +4 here, +4 really isn't too much in the grand scheme of things. So we can supplement those points into just getting some free chaos damage and conversion over here. And if you take this in the early game, the really important thing to note is to not use brutality. So I caught myself making this mistake, and I was trying to figure out why my guys were not doing any damage and were not doing any chaos damage or any poison damage, and why poison ailments weren't showing up is because I had socketed in brutality early on, like way back when I could socket in brutality. In the early acts, I had put it in, and I had completely forgot that brutality turns off chaos damage, and chaos and poison is chaos damage. So this was completely negating those nodes, and I just completely slipped my mind. I knew brutality did elemental damage. I completely forgot that it negated chaos and poison damage. I spent an hour hunting down the issue. I was trying to figure out, okay, why aren't these guys doing it? I unspec, respec, thought it was a visual bug. Looked at the back end kind of data set of it, and just couldn't figure it out until I hovered over brutality and realized my mistake. So if you were using those nodes, make sure you are not using brutality. You are shooting yourself in the foot, and you are losing damage from not being able to do those conversions. So just a quick note there. A great thing that I've supplemented it in for is giving the companions themselves the ability to generate rage, because there is no downside to this node. The other nodes for minions have massive downsides. So like feeding frenzy, your minions take more damage for getting 30% more damage. And then there's another one, I think it's heavy swing. You get 35% more damage, but you lose 10% attack speed, which is not great on this build to lose attack speed. But rage just straight up gives them 30% more damage. Now, it is important to note from my testing that your increases in max rage, so like my max rage down here, I have more rage. I have 48 rage over here. But if we go to my Mighty Silver Fist, he does not. He does not inherit... no, actually, hold on. I have to summon him so you can see. Let me just go into the farmlands real quick, and I'll show you what I mean. So if we go here... his maximum rage is independent of ours. So his stays at 30, so this is a 30% increase for him. So he'll have those stacks, he'll have 30% more damage. It's just he doesn't gain the extra that we do when we have 48 off to the side over here. But that is just 30% more damage with no downsides, which is better than giving him damage with downsides, like losing, taking more damage and having him offline. Doing 0 damage is extremely bad, but also taking 10% attack speed off of him is also really bad. Another thing to notate that is really important, I have made all these changes on the build guide, by the way, so the build guide will be in the description with all of these changes so far. Again, as I'm playing, I'm learning as I go. But another thing that is really important is your buff skill that you get from your scepter. So your scepter gives you an ability, grant skill Purity of Lightning. That ability you can socket whatever you want in here, and it does not actually cost any spirit. So see all these say 30 spirit, 30 spirit, 20 spirit. If you look over at my spirit over here that says we have 17 spirit, and if I go here and I take out upwelling, I still have 17 spirit. If I put upwelling back in, I still have 17 spirit. This essentially means that a lot of the extremely powerful support gems that run on persistent buffs, you can slot in to Purity of Lightning and gain their benefits. So this 1% maximum life per second, this 3% on kill, and most importantly, upwelling. Upwelling, when we're not on full mana, gives our minions 50% increased damage. We actually want to be running 2 of these, one on Upwelling 1. We should put on like Eternal Rage or something when we can support it, because what that will do is it will actually give us I think it's like 70 or 80% more damage. I think it's 80%. So it'll actually give more damage when we're not when we're using our mana. So how this build actually plays for me right now is I literally have a single button. Now I told, like, this is a 0 button build. I don't have to click this button. I just lose out on that upwelling damage. But essentially I'm just walking around hitting temporal change to keep me at 0 mana for the time being, because we don't have our mana conversion yet this early in the game. I haven't gotten to the point where I'm actually using my mana pool as a life pool. So for me, keeping this at like 0 or just spamming temp chains, and temp chains is doing nothing but spending mana, by the way. So blasphemy with enfeeble is our damage mitigation. So we have enfeeble and blasphemy, and that's just keeping us alive. When people come near us, they're getting the reduction in their damage. So temp change is just a mana spend at the moment. It's there for me to remember that I need to socket into blasphemy when I have the ability to do so from a spirit standpoint. But more importantly, it is siphoning our mana so that we can trigger upwelling. And that's the entire point, and that's all I'm doing. So when I'm running through a map, I'll show you kind of like what that looks like really quick. When I am running through a map, I'll go here, I'll just show you kind of what this looks like. I am literally just spamming and holding up my shield, and you can hold up your shield and spam at the same time. So you see my mana's going down, and I'm holding up my shield. We just hit level 60. And we just want to get rid of our mana so that our minions can have more damage. So like we'll go over here. And you see I'm putting enfeeble on everything as I'm just moving around them. I'm not doing anything. You can see down here, I literally have raise shield and spend my mana. And when I spend my mana, they gain damage and they do more damage. So that is the entire concept of the build. We'll actually even just do this really quick because it looks like it's just one question mark. Oh, there's 2. Okay, there's 2. All right, so we'll go 1. I don't know, maybe like there, I guess, and I don't know, maybe there. Okay, hold on. What do we have? We could do... just do a regal. And then here... I usually do these because they're really hard to come by anyway. So we'll just grab those. Go here, we'll do a little detonation test. And then again, just start spamming temp chains to get rid of my mana. And I let the boys do their work. So I let them just go about their business. They're gonna clear out this map. If anything comes near me, I just put up my shield, block the damage. Keep myself alive, essentially. Again, this is hardcore solo self-bound. So, you know, surviving is the name of the game. So you see we just cleared that one. They'll handle business. Like, they're gonna truck along and clear out the map for us. So we don't have to do anything. We just have to make sure we don't have mana. So that they're doing maximum damage. Okay, that one's done. Collect our Regal Orb. And while they're killing, we can go looting, you know? We can just save ourselves a little bit of time, grab things that look interesting, and all that. And look, expedition complete. I didn't really do anything. Again, I'm just walking around, spamming, getting rid of my mana. No big deal. Alright, so we'll go back to town real quick so I can finish going over some other things that are important. Let me also, we did activate both Eternal Rage and Blasphemy at around level 58. We were able to get them both aligned. You get Eternal Rage at level 58. I had to do some like finagling. You need about 300 spirit to make this all work. You'll see I have like 17 left over, so like 280 spirit or so you're gonna need to be able to do this. But once you do that, you can get Blasphemy and Eternal Rage online, and you can have Silver Fist, and you can have a Purity skill for your resistances, and you can have your Wild Protector. So you have two big minions, you'll have defense, and then you'll have your Eternal Rage to give them the buffs that you need. And at level 58, all of that is online. So you'll see we do have Commanding Rage online. That's why we are already using Eternal Rage. So all that is online at this point. We also have the additions to, so at level 60, this is my level 60. I have a point. So if we want to use this point, we can just give ourselves some more damage. Why not? There's some more damage. So we have Commanding Rage is already spec'd in. We have the additions to the maximum rage. We have Onslaught for our minions. We have Elemental Resistances and Chaos Resistance for our minions. We have the full Chaos damage node with the poison on hit. And we have the Trusted Kinship for the additional companions. I actually could unspec this at the moment and probably get Temp Chains into my build. Because I'm not using two different companions at the moment. I'll go over that in a second. Actually, let me see if I can do that.
How can I?
Would that allow me to get Temp Chains in my build? Let's find out. Because we just gained back 57. I think I'm 3 short. Crazy. Actually, it's going to be more than 3. Yeah, we're not able to do it. So we can't get it in yet. But... and we can't use our other companion. Okay, so it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. What we could do is we could start putting things on Eternal Rage for the time being, and we could probably socket Magnified Area back in. Let me see this real quick. Because we can make use of this extra 57. So we could do a... Where's my Magnified Area? You see, this is what testing is. Okay, so let's bring Upwelling. Let's bring Magnified Area. Okay, so if I go here and I put Magnified, not there. If I put Magnified Area in here, can it go in without breaking it? It looks like it can. I don't know why. Oh, I guess it doesn't really affect anything. Okay, so that's in there. And if I put Upwelling, Upwelling does have a spirit increase, so it's 15, but we should be able to get it in. Yep, 42. Probably could have had that in before too. I don't think that broke anything. Doesn't look like it broke anything. And now, since we have Upwelling 1 and 2, so it is 30%, we should get 80% more damage for our minions. So you'll see how that, you know, how you can dock that stuff in like that. Can I get something else in here, I guess, is another good question. Can I get... I could probably get Warm-Blooded in here too and reduce any freeze duration. Like that. And I could probably even go even further than that. I could probably Jewelers this and get where is it? Go here. And we'll go all gems, and we want to do shock. Is it strong-hearted? Is that what it is? 50% less shock duration on you while supported skill is active. Yes, it's this one. Strong-hearted. So we grab this, dock it in. We still have 12 left over. We haven't bricked anything. Now we have 50% less shock duration on us, 50% less freeze duration on us, 30% more damage for our minions, more area for our enfeeble, and we still have our temp chains for our spamming our mana so that we can take advantage of upwelling. And yeah, all that looks good. So that is, again, some more just things. I'm learning as I go. I'm doing things as I go. So we'll put some stuff here. Some other things to note about the build and how things are going. We got an insane pull from Eldermatics in the interlude. So in the interludes, Eldermatics gives you one free unique out of a list of uniques that he randomly generates. We got our Chobber Chabber. So as you know, this build is a Chobber Chabber build. We cannot use this anytime soon, but we do have it because the when we go to use Giant's Blood, that int requirement will go from 100 to 300, and we definitely do not have enough nodes on our passive tree to support 300 int or even close to 240 int. And we don't have our third ascendancy to take advantage of this yet anyway, because we're not level 75. So we can't use this yet, we can't take advantage of it yet, but we do have it. And not only do we have it, it is max rolled for fizz damage. So it rolled the top end 110 fizz damage, perfect roll. It rolled extremely high maximum mana, which will become life for us later, which is great. It could have rolled low, but it rolled like right in the middle, a good solid middle percentage there. It did not roll +3 minion skills, which really sucks, but +2 is just, we're gonna have to take it. And then of course we get that +50 spirit when we are able to use this. This is a banger pickup early in the game, which means that any point later when I can support the int requirement, I can take advantage of this Chobber Chabber. Of course, we also have to potentially hit the Vol corruption, and we may even need to double corrupt to try to hit it. We will see. Hopefully we don't brick it, because that would be very sad. I've only seen one and I only have one so far. But yeah, we do have the Chobber Chabber in our stash for us to utilize later. What are some other things? Oh, there is a mystic alloy that is brand new. Never seen this before, but the thing to notate is you can add spirit to boots. And if this is a like level 1 version of this or a standard version of this, I don't know if there's going to be one that's better than this. Maybe there's like a greater mystic alloy that I don't know yet. But it is not typical that you can get spirit on boots, so if we are ever spirit hungry, we have another means to get spirit. In my original video, I was talking about the fact that there's the potential that we may end up seeing spirit on things like rings, on jewelry, or other places than you can standardly get spirits, and now we have an option to put it on our boots, which is a great pickup for us in case we are ever mana starved on this build. But with moving a lot of the heavy mana drains to the free mana section of our Purity of Lightning has massively helped our mana consumption, again, allowing us to run this. The other thing I picked up, I don't know how long I'll keep it. I'm still looking for the best possible companion combination, but this one is insane, is I picked up an Amphibious Prowler. The minion type of, like, the actual type of minion it is doesn't matter. It's the combination of Enraged and all damage shocks. So when I can fit this back into the build, I can't fit him in the build right now because I don't have enough spirit to fit him back in the build. But when I can fit him back in the build, the all damage shocks allows me to get that 20% more damage on all bosses and unique minions that we fight. And he has been instrumental in applying that 20% damage on bosses. And then the Enraged effect, which is different from what is online, is actually 30% increased damage, 25% increased skill and movement speed. Skill applying to all things, attack speed, cast speed, warcry speed, and similar stats. It's additive, so it is an increase to his attack speed and movement speed, and he takes 33% less damage. So I've amended the build guide to say that you want to find this on your monkey in the maps, and you want to find a companion that can apply all damage shocks over something like hasted, because all damage shocks will give you a 20% additional multiplier on enemies that you would hit. Potentially, it's even better than the physical damage aura, which I'm actually going to assume it is. I haven't hovered over a physical damage aura yet, but there is a potential that I actually swap those and you get something like haste aura and all damage shocks, because then you don't have to try to find a shock outlet for the build. I actually think I may make that adjustment on the build after finishing this video. So that is where we're at. We are trucking along. Again, we're playing hardcore solo self-found, so I'm not going super fast. I'm not in trade league. I don't have like a million things at my disposal. I'm kind of playing my cards as I get them and trying not to die. But right now, our guys truck. They truck a lot of damage. Oh, it is important to note why they truck. So things have been learned in the sphere of minion people talking about minions. Mighty Silverfist apparently is one of the only minions who has this. He has a modifier. I have to go summon him again. Hold on. Let me just go back to where I was so that you guys can see. I need him to go hit something. His stats do not populate until he hits something. Oh, there was something over here. Okay, never mind. Okay, he's hit something. We can actually back up now. Let him kill this. Okay. So, now if we look at Mighty Silverfist, you're going to notate that he has a critical strike chance at his base of, I think it's 25%. It says 29 because I think I may have like some slight gem modifications to this. But he has a base crit chance of 25%. Every other minion in the game, so if we look at something like our Wild Protector, for instance, our Wild Protector on his Maul has a critical strike chance of 5. And that applies to all minions. So all minions generally have a 5% base critical strike chance, but Mighty Silverfist has a base critical strike chance of 25%. It's insane. He also has a massive critical strike damage bonus natively at 250. Again, if we go look at our Wild Protector as an example of like in comparison, he only has 100. So he has 2.5x more damage on his crits, and he crits 5 times as often. Insane, actual insanity. So he does a tremendous amount of damage. Now, I have heard in the grapevines that this does not apply to all Silverfists. So for instance, the Abominable Yeti cold version of him that you get in the interludes, or that you fight in the interludes, does not have this, this conversion. Now, I did have a chance to fight, and I didn't think about it in the middle of it because I was trying not to die. But the Vol Temple does spawn a Mighty Silverfist boss equivalent through the Vol Temple boss pool. I didn't pay it. I should have paid more attention. I didn't think about trying to capture him. He has a completely different set of like animation, like a column. So I don't actually know what his stats are, and I'd be curious if anybody has tamed him. I will need to look into that. But yeah, so it's just some things. So if you were thinking, oh, I'll switch over to Yeti because he's, you know, further into the game, do not do that. Keep Mighty Silverfist. Now, I have heard in the grapevines that the map version of him, of Mighty Silverfist, the Head Crusher, does have the 25% critical strike chance. So you are safe to upgrade to the map version with the affixes, to my knowledge. That is what has been relayed to me, that you can make those changes and upgrade when you get to the map version. But I'm interested. I'm going to see if I can try to get the Vol version. I want to see what the Vol Silverfist stats are. So that's it for me, guys. That's my quick update on the build. And again, level 60, hardcore SSF. It is hardcore viable. It is SSF viable. It is crushing through the campaign. I will be starting maps probably tomorrow as I finish up these last 2 interludes and then move on to the next thing. The next plan is to get to Gigantic. So we have the bottom half of the tree pretty much done. We have 22 points to get to Gigantic, and then once we get to Gigantic, the 25% reduced reservation efficiency of minion skills is going to be, I think is going to affect us a little bit. I don't know, you know, how much, And then we'll make our way over to getting double curses so that we can slot temp chains into blasphemy. I forgot that I do need to go up there to get temp chains on blasphemy anyway, so we couldn't have put it on even if we wanted to. But we will go up here to get it. Temp chains will just remain our mana spender for the time being. And then we're going to work on just getting our defenses in order. So just getting damage conversion to mana and our mana recoup going. And then we're good to go from that point forward. Actually, I don't need to slot that in. We'll just get more damage. We'll do that. Alright guys, have a good one.